Hi, I'm Doctor Cliff Fruithandler. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've been practicing for a little over 30 years now, graduating from National University of Health Sciences. When I was in school, I tried to learn everything and anything I possibly could, and I was very intrigued with acupuncture and applied kinesiology. We were extremely fortunate that Wally Schmidt, having been a graduate of National, gave his training classes there in the very beginning, along with the famous Dr. George Goodhart. Two absolutely wonderful people. Over the years, everything in my practice has been about balancing the body. Using AK, we balance the muscles. As we balance the muscles, the spine is in better alignment, the feet touch the ground properly. The end result is athletes perform better. That's why George Goodhart became the first chiropractic U.S. Olympic team chiropractic physician. A lot's changed over the years. Things got better and better, but we've seen a real quantum jump in the last few years with the onslaught of energetic medicine, which is basically where applied kinesiology is. I've been beta testing some of the APL brand products, specifically using AK, and the most common areas that we find weaknesses in is in the colon, in the adrenals, and the thyroid glands. And as we clear those three areas out, everything else comes into play. I've used a lot of nutritional products over the years, and in the process of beta testing Life Force, it's been the most miraculous one I've ever seen. Life Force strengthens every meridian, every muscle test is completely strengthened just by taking Life Force or holding Life Force. So in the beginning, we were using it as a brain balancing formula, as a general tonic. And along the way with beta testing, I was testing one of my patients who wasn't even in town. And Anne-Marie was in New York. She's a severe diabetic. She has every disorder known to man. And being a juvenile diabetic and on an insulin pump, her blood pressure started to go up, her blood sugar started to continue up. So she called me when they're ready to start her on dialysis and do a kidney puncture to see what's going on. I decided, you know what, Anne-Marie, let's try something. So I sent her the new organic multivitamin, figuring she's not getting good nutrition. And I sent her a bottle of Life Force. I said, try it, see what happens. And in about 1 week, she calls me and she says, wow, do I feel good? I feel like my old self, my energy is up. I mean, I'm actually losing weight. How's your blood pressure? Well, it's still high, but it's getting a little better. How's your blood sugar? Still high, but it's coming down. At 2 weeks, she said her energy is incredible. She's lost 8 pounds, and her blood sugar is dropping down from a high of 400 down into the mid 100s. Her blood pressure, which had been systolic of 180 to 200, was down to 130. And at 3 weeks, she went back to see her doctor for retesting, and they were about to decide whether to put her on dialysis, whether to do a DNC for some severe menstrual problems, and to see what else they might be able to do for her blood sugar levels. Her blood work came back dramatically improved, almost normal. They said, let's put off the dialysis for right now. Let's put off changing any of the blood sugar medications. And most importantly, we'll cancel the DNC because she had no problem with her cycle that month. It was no short than miraculous. So I called Gus Barney and I mentioned this to him, and Anne-Marie gave him a call, and we decided we'll continue the study with her. Now, the problem we had is I didn't know whether it was the organic multi or whether it was the Life Force. And it just so happened that by the time we sent her up her second batch, she had run out of Life Force for about 1 week. And during that 1 week, her blood sugars went up an additional 10, 15 points, which was still at the upper range of normal. She was up around 120. And her blood pressure started to raise up a little bit too. And as soon as she got back on Life Force, she normalized. Since then, we're starting to do some more studies with severe diabetics, and all are showing the same. Absolutely incredible. Neurologically speaking, I've had a lot of older patients. One is Mr. D. He walks with an extremely slow shuffle gait, using a walker. Came in initially, took him 5 minutes just to get from the reception room to the treatment room. I tested him out, everything balanced with Life Force, We put him on the Life Force product, and I did my adjustments, and an amazing thing happened. It took us 2 people to get him on the table, 2 people to get him off the table during the first 3 days of treatment, 3 times of treatment. By the end of the first week, he was able to get on and off the table himself, and I would do a little countdown. So, it would take him 15 seconds for him to get off the table with a little help. Now, he had been taking Life Force about a week and a half to 2 weeks. At that point, he was getting off the table in 9 seconds, and his gait he tripled in speed. Now, granted, he still wasn't, running the way a 20-year-old would, but for him, he was going twice as fast. The results were no short than miraculous. I muscle test everybody before and after, particularly with balance, and the amazing part was he couldn't even lift his leg off the ground and stand on 1 foot when he started, and immediately after taking Life Force, he was able to hold himself up without resistance. A week later, he was able to hold himself up without resistance, with resistance, as I'm pushing down. Again, no short of a miracle. When we did the balance testing with some patients with MS, I had one gal, and she's actually an insurance adjuster, and she had just gotten out of the hospital a week before. She had a severe episode of MS, couldn't walk, and they rehabilitated her with about 2 months worth of care. And the one thing that they couldn't get her to do was to stand on 1 foot. She could walk, she was living a normal life. I initially tested her. She was weak in 4 different areas, and I gave her Life Force to try, and immediately, and we're talking about in seconds, she was able to stand on 1 foot with resistance being placed down against her, and she was able to resist.